The White House is going full force on tax reform, we should say, but Congress has bigger issues they need to address right now. You've got the budget, you've got the debt ceiling. They need to hammer out these issues by the end of September. But then if you take a look, and this is what I was asking Adam about, the calendar itself, from now until the end of September, both chambers of Congress are only in session for 12 days together. So can they really get tax reform done this year? I want to bring in Republican strategist Evan Siegfried and Democratic strategist Christy Setzer. And it's great to have you both here. Evan, I think really the burden here is on the GOP and when it comes to timing and how fast they can move. Can they move quickly?
Yes, the burden is on us, but we've always been maintaining that tax reform was going to happen in October or November, was really when we were going to take it up in earnest, because of the debt ceiling and the budget being against the September 30th deadline, and only 12 legislative calendar days for Congress in September. Now, it's important that the Republicans in the House and Senate get tax reform right. We are seeing that President Trump is leading the way, where he's going out and he's met with over 200 members of Congress and 80 different trade associations and gotten their input on how to make a fairer and more simple tax code and provide a middle-class tax relief for Americans.
Yeah, but Christy, I mean, you already heard from Senator Chuck Schumer in Adams' report saying that they don't want to see reconciliation. They don't want to see that used as a process, even though they've used it in the past. And also the Democrats have already signed this huge letter. Most of them signed it saying you can't, they won't allow for tax cuts for the top 1% of households. It looks like they're not willing to really come to the table and negotiate, even though they say they will, Christy.
Well, I don't think they're willing to negotiate on things that are unreasonable. Look, the Democratic demands here are nothing outrageous. They are, one, let's make this a bipartisan process. I think that's what the American people in general want to see. Two, let's not add to the deficit. And three, let's not give more tax breaks to the top 1%. That's it. Those are the only things that Democrats want. If Republicans can't fulfill those three things, then frankly, what are we doing here, right? Then yes, then they should go it alone, because that's pretty much a bare minimum on what we should expect from tax reform.
Well, but expected from tax reform, I mean, let's be clear here, Evan. I mean, there's a reason that you have a Republican president and a House and a Senate that are under the control of the GOP, because Americans voted and they said they wanted tax reform. They wanted to discuss immigration. They wanted jobs back in this country. This is the agenda that's on the table, Evan.
Yes, it's on the table, and I find it kind of funny that Christy was saying that they want to not cut taxes for the 1%. The White House did float an idea last week and a few weeks ago of raising the top marginal tax rate on people who make $5 million or more a year to 44%, and many liberals lost it, including Deborah Messing, who said it's disgusting. Well, the top marginal tax she's a leader of the base who's holding your hold on, Christy.
Is she a leader of the base?
She's holding your base is holding your representatives hostage. If you so much as shake Donald Trump's hand, they talk about openly primarying you for somehow betraying the resistance. They're not in any way politically incentivized to work with and create bipartisan results. They just want to be the party of no.
Christy, to be clear here, obstructionism. I mean, that's what they're taking their cue from, and that's what a lot of people would argue that's what the Republicans did to the Obama administration, and sometimes that strategy does work.
No, there's a little bit of revisionist history here. I think we're forgetting that it was Mitch McConnell who said that they were going to pursue the go-it-alone strategy. That came before any of this. And then, again, you only need to look to the healthcare debate to see the folly in doing that. It means that, fine, you can try to get every Republican on board, but you might actually lose people who are just offended, like John McCain was, by the process of excluding Democrats. And then you might actually lose people on the merits, like Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski were, because maybe they think that tax reform should benefit the middle class and not just the top 1%.
Our tax reform is purely to benefit the middle class, and it's to help lower corporate tax rates as well. It's to ensure that the middle class is not sacked with overburdensome taxes. Now, look, we dropped the border adjustment tax, which was a $5 trillion tax on the lowest and middle income spectrums of the United States. I don't see any Democrats saying, good for you for doing that. They just say, we're going to be silent and we're going to be hostage to our base. And
well, that wasn't exactly, I mean, I don't know, the border adjustment tax was interesting in that it wasn't exactly a partisan issue. There were lots of Republicans on both sides of that. There were lots of people saying, this is just going to hurt your average families that are going to Walmart. And, you know, so I don't know. Did you really want Democratic praise for something
Christy, that is a fair point. There were several Republicans and a lot of business groups, did not want to see the border adjustment tax go through. That is a fair point. Wish I had more time with both of you, Evan and Christy.